Welcome to Kermode Uncut. Like so many people around this time of the year, I'm afraid I'm a bit under the weather. I'm suffering from a bit of man flu, so I apologise for my croaky voice. However, there's been some news in the last couple of days that has made me feel considerably better. I actually put a bit of a spring in my step. If you're a regular here at Kermode Uncut, you remember some months ago we were talking about the problem with Kodak stopping production of 35mm film. They were worried they couldn't produce it anymore. It wasn't financially viable in the digital age. And then a number of directors got together, primarily people like Chris Nolan and J.J. Abrams, to get the studios to attempt to agree to purchase enough film to keep Kodak producing 35mm. Well, the Wall Street Journal has just reported in the last couple of days that that agreement has now been signed, sealed and delivered. They have struck an agreement with the 6 big studios, 20th Century Fox, Paramount, Sony Pictures, Universal, Walt Disney and Warner Brothers, to purchase enough stock for the next few years to keep 35mm production going, and indeed to allow filmmakers who want to shoot on film to be able to do so. Jeff Clark, who is the chief executive of Kodak, said, "We were very close to the difficult decision of having to stop manufacturing film. Now, with the cooperation of major studios and filmmakers, we'll be able to keep it going." And he goes further to say not only do they expect to break even over the next year or so, but in fact, they're even thinking of gearing up production of film. Now, this is really terrific news, because the fact of the matter is 35mm is a central part of cinema, even in the digital 21st century. I mean, think, for example, of a movie like Inherent Vice. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you loved it, maybe you hated it, whatever. Almost everyone agrees that that film looks terrific. It's got a real 70s vibe to it, but it looks terrific. It's really sort of richly textural. Why? Well, because it's shot by Robert Elswit on 35mm. In fact, there are certain scenes in it which are deliberately shot on heat-damaged 35mm in order to get what Paul Thomas Anderson wanted. Christopher Nolan has in the past said that the difference between 35mm and digital is that digital is like plywood and 35mm is like oak. It has rich textures. The most important thing is that filmmakers will now be able to choose whether to shoot on digital or to shoot on film, because there will be film for them to do it with. I don't know about you, but I have always had a real passion for 35mm, and I think this is really terrific news, something that's really encouraging, and most importantly, it demonstrates that 35mm and digital are not at war. You will probably see digitally projected films that have been shot on 35mm. These are 2 formats, one of them cinema's past, one of them cinema's future, together making cinema's present.